Well, the Swiss National Bank, as we were just discussing, Norway's central bank, and the Bank of England, all announcing different decisions on their respective countries' interest rates today. Switzerland cutting for the second time this year. Norway remaining unchanged, along with England, which will hold steady heading into their parliamentary elections on July 4th. Wow. Our own Jennifer Schonberger has more. Jennifer, take it away.
Good morning, Brad. That's right. 3 central banks taking action this morning. The Bank of England opting to hold rates steady near a 16-year high, but signaled it could follow its European peers in lowering rates in the coming months. The UK central bank held its key interest rate at 5.25% for the 7th straight meeting, in line with what investors and economists had expected. Much of the decline in UK inflation over recent months has been owed to falling energy and food prices. The Bank of England worries that since those declines are unlikely to continue, rapidly rising prices for services will push the rate of inflation back above its target in the second half of this year. Meanwhile, the Swiss National Bank cut interest rates for the second straight meeting, pointing to easing price pressures. Switzerland was the first to begin cutting rates. Elsewhere, Norway's central bank also stayed on the sidelines today, leaving its key rate unchanged. Now, these moves coming after the European Central Bank cut rates for the first time in this global rate hiking cycle earlier this month. As some global central banks opt to cut rates, here in the U.S. Federal Reserve is continuing to hold rates steady. Boston Fed President Susan Collins told me in an exclusive interview this week that she sees scenarios later this year for 1 to 2 interest rate cuts, though that will depend on how the inflation data come in. For now, the Fed is closely watching that inflation data. Take a listen.
I do think that it'll be important to see more information that is consistent. I think we have learned that there's no crystal ball, that there's no preset path. We have to let the data tell us, and it's not 1 or 2 indicators. It's looking more holistically at the information.
The next key piece of inflation data due out is the Core Personal Consumption Expenditures Index. That will be on June 28th. I will have more from my exclusive interview with Susan Collins on Friday.